Well, another eventful week in a lot of senses. PGA gave us some interesting cards. BAFTA gave us some interesting British cue cards and what might be going on with there in a few weeks when we find out those nominations. And of course, the big thing, the Globes happened, which I feel like our coverage here of the review needs to be having 69,000 betting adverts to complement what we just saw last night.
Very true.
A ceremony that was good and terrible, I feel.
It's not. I will say the best way to describe this season. It's not going to be ordinary.
Anyway. So yeah, it's AJ, Owen, and Ashley myself running through everything to catch up on basically before our Oscars 24 predictions on Thursday.
I before we get started, I kind of want to show you this because this is pretty cool. I mean, I just showed Ashley and AJ like right before we went live. So I love Song Sung Blue. Again, I'm not a Neil Diamond mark, but I love Song Sung Blue. And I love the fact that Kate Hudson is very likely to get nominated for Song Sung Blue. I can't say for sure, but it's like more and more likely every day. But to watch it in the Dolby Cinema and AMC, they gave us these. So this is a 45 of Sweet Caroline performed by Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. And they gave this out to if you watched it in the Dolby Digital Theater, which, of course, because of reasons and mainly Avatar, it's not in the Dolby Digital Theater. So they basically just gave it to people that watched the film. Or in my case, I watched it twice, but it's weird because I could not verify either one of those showings, one of which was fair because it was a secret screening. But when I watched it the second time, you know, sometimes when you have A-list or any other like promotion they have at a different theater chain that you get like X amount of movies a month, a week, things like that. Well, I found out a long time ago if you don't scan in enough times, you get a warning. They warn you that they may cancel your subscription if you do it again. I got a warning a while ago. And usually it's easy just to pop from movie to movie to movie, and I have enough time that I can check in. But apparently I didn't check in for Song Sung Blue because when I was looking in my A-list lineup of all the movies I've watched, it wasn't there at all. And I guess if you don't scan in, that means you don't get to say that you've seen the movie. It's like obviously you did, but I mean it doesn't show up in your like A-list. So yeah, I thought that was a interesting little tidbit. Yeah,
Also
we got a lot
funny they
tonight.
it's also funny they chose to make it Sweet Caroline since he specifically says in the movie that he doesn't want to play Sweet Caroline.
Yes. But in the very end, Mike kind of succumbs and says, "Yeah, you know what? We'll just play Sweet Caroline. It's fine." And then that montage begins, which kind of reminded me a little bit of the Rock DJ montage in Better Man. I just wanted an excuse to talk about Robbie Williams. So, as I wear my water park shirt. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Ashley alluded to the fact there's a lot of things that may or may not have changed your opinion moving into next Thursday. I've got thoughts. I'm sure AJ has thoughts. Ashley has thoughts. And we have a live chat tonight, so I'm sure all of you have thoughts. So we're going to be discussing that. We've got, obviously, PGA. We're going to talk about the BAFTA long list, and we're going to talk about the Golden Globes and what we look forward to for this Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we finally do the predictions for every single category of the 2026 Academy Awards.
Well, I need to start with something that kind of sums up two of these, at least, it feels like.
Okay.
I don't know about anybody else or where anybody else was at, but in the last at least couple of prediction videos, I think I had said that I thought Begonia was getting a bit silent. And then in the last prediction video, I took Begonia out entirely. So I would just like to say, welcome back to
Yeah.
we always say, oh, the industry is going to bring back something. What's the industry going to bring back? For some reason, I didn't have my eye on that movie being Begonia, but yeah.
Yeah, we're obviously referring to it making it in first because alphabetical in the PGA list of 10, along with F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Train Dreams, and Weapons. So neither Universal or Disney's major cash cows for the year made it into PGA.
I should probably also add, I mentioned PGA and BAFTA Longlist did that. Welcome Back Begonia actually started with Clemens and Stone both being at SAG.
Correct.
So it's like, so yeah.
Very true.
I assume one thing that's going to draw attention is the same thing that SAG drew attention for, which is the lack of international stuff.
Yeah.
Well, at least Sentimental Value made it in here.
Yeah.
So there is one.
It did.
I'm still saying that the Oscars the past few years, and it's been building up for a while. I'm still fully expecting there to be quite a bit of international inclusions at the actual Oscar lineup, but I can understand how people are very suspicious right now that they keep not appearing in crucial places. But also was last night not pretty crucial in the sense that actually last night being crucial can go two ways, because didn't Oscar voting pretty much begin
Today.
Yeah.
Literally today. So anything that happened last night is very crucial.
So you could go two ways with why it's crucial or how it's crucial. The people that won got to give really great big speeches that could win the room over.
Sure.
That'll make you say, oh, I want to vote for that person. Or last night's going to make people say, oh, I'm glad that won and that was a great speech, but man, now I kind of feel bad that that didn't win. Maybe I should vote for that thing that didn't win.
Right. Could go either way.
Yeah, like well, I had one big disappointment last night, but I'm not sure what order we're going in. So we're still on PGA.
Yeah, I think we'll go chronologically,
PGA's fine.
and that we'll touch on PGA and BAFTA first.
We know PGA is not going to be 10 for 10.
No.
When was it? There was a time recently. Was it last year or the year before? They went 10 for 10, but it's like really rare.
Yeah, there's at least usually one difference.
I think there'll be more than one this year.
That's what's driving me crazy about DGA right now. It's like there is, even when you think, oh no, that's definitely the lineup, there's always at least one change in DGA. As solid as that 5 already looks, I've been kind of racking my brain on that for a little bit, and I may have figured something out that we'll talk about Thursday, obviously. But yeah, a lot of headache categories in the midst now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also in terms of animated, we've got Bad Guys 2, Demon Slayer, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, and Zootopia 2. And then on the documentary front, Perfect Neighbors in there, as you'd kind of expect. We've also got, along with it, Alabama Solution, Cover Up, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, My Mom Jane, Ocean with David Attenborough, and The Tale of Cillian. I'd say the Attenborough one's notable because I swear there's been like 3 or 4 of those in the past 10 years. Like every couple of years, he does all the stuff for sort of television and whatever, but then also they randomly do, let's make this one into a movie sort of thing.
Based on just looking at categories alone, one thing that I saw that did end up in PGA that very well is on the Oscar shortlist for a documentary feature is 2,000 meters to Andrivka.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that a lot of places, but the fact that it didn't get into PGA, but luckily, most of the, I'm not going to reveal my hand right now, but most of the things that got into PGA, I kind of gravitated towards for the Oscar. But we'll see if that ends up benefiting or not.
That being said, there's quite a few in the last couple of years where they've swept everything and then missed the Oscar. So
Yeah,
maybe it's sort of a blessing in disguise that PGA didn't recognise it.
maybe.
And just as a side mention as well, even though we don't really dabble on it here, but the way it's growing, it will probably become something. For streamed motion pictures, we had Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy, The Gorge, the John Candy documentary, I Like Me, along with Mountainhead and Nonus. Making it in.
Kind of the same group of TV movies we've been working with.
Mm.
Apart from the John Candy one.
Yeah.
Somewhat interesting surprise.
So, do we want to rewind and talk about F1 and weapons? Obviously,
well, F1 is arguably your blockbuster one in the 10 now because of what I previously mentioned, and yeah, weapons making it in.
I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem with either one. I've been saying since August that F1 was going to do something. I necessarily wasn't thinking picture, but I mean, PGA is like, all right, sure, we'll go that. That could work.
I'll get
in
the
best picture last month.
I'll get a little ahead of myself with this, but because this goes into why my one disappointment with last night was. I mean, apart from Sinners getting shafted, but when you know the Globe's history, it's like, oh yeah.
It's pretty normal.
But we gotta bring Gerard Carmichael back in now next year.
Oh boy.
But the thing is, and this is a conversation me and Owen were having recently. I am disappointed. I love Tiana Taylor, and she's really great in that first half hour of the movie.
Mm.
The conversation we were having was how I've been really wanting Madigan to just kind of take everything, but I knew Taylor was her competition. And what came up was when Weapons got into PGA was it's like, well, if that's how much they love Weapons, then does that mean supporting actress is we're kind of seeing it form here? Like, even if Weapons doesn't go anywhere above the line past supporting actress, the love is there for it to get into PGA at least.
Sure.
But then you think about the fact that her competition is in the inevitable Best Picture winner, and it kind of evens out all over again. So I'll be curious to see where that goes. But yeah, I initially had thought that the PGA lineup was potentially deciding supporting actress, but then with not only Tiana Taylor putting herself on the map with a win that broadcast and then the speech that she gave, I feel like we're back to square one with that doesn't tell us much.
Mm-mm.
And I do agree. I think F1 is the one that's just here that will get replaced by an international spot. I think I guess I'll go ahead and show my hand on this. I don't have F1 or Weapons in my picture predictions, and that's where it's probably going to be on Thursday. I'm psyched that we got a little bit of a shakeup with the PGA lineup. And I'm glad Weapons is one of them, because Weapons is one of my favorite movies of the year. F1 is not. I was.
It's your blockbuster pick. It's going to get a lot of below the line nominations. It can get editing. It can get song. It has no acting nominations, but it can get a lot of tech awards that can get it in the picture.
Depending on where we end up with where we actually are on international stuff, like it was just an accident in The Secret Agent.
I think one of those two is making it, and I don't. At this point, it's not what I thought was going to be the answer.
It does mean I'll probably reveal my hand now. I feel more comfortable with F1 being the blockbuster now, replacing, because if you remember a couple of weeks back when I was doing it, I was like umming and ahhing between Avatar and Wicked. I now have to put F1 into that consideration, and probably more so because I think there's more techs that it's got a chance of getting nominated in than either of those, arguably.
Yes.
Because the key thing is, if sound and cinematography and editing gives it a chance, I'd say that has more hold over getting the chance to get momentum for a picture nod than your costume or your production design that Wicked would have. Because arguably Avatar only has special visual effects and not much else.
Let's save that for Thursday.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I did go in a direction, but so for the sake of having something to talk about Thursday, I'll hold off on what I was about to say.
So then, the interesting stuff, at least in terms of trying to work out the British skew. The BAFTA long lists, where, dear God, I'm trying to work out whether there is a chance of a British film making it in Best Picture. I want to say no, but the fact that in reverse order, for obvious reasons, we have Sinners, Sentimental Value, One Battle After Another, Nuremberg, Mighty Supreme, I Swear, Hamnet, Frankenstein, Begonia, and The Ballad of Wallace Island.
Hell yes. Nominate the movie, nominate the song, nominate Carey Mulligan. Shoot it into my veins right now. Let's go.
As far as the long-term stuff, like Oscar-wise, as we were saying, we're only going to have the long list to go off of since BAFTA nominations come out after Oscar nominations.
Sure.
But of course, the thing we often talk about is when you're talking Oscar potential, it's not really about who's on the BAFTA long list. It's who's not on the BAFTA long list. Is what's most telling. However, I do feel like there's an interesting exception here. Because sometimes you can just, every now and then, something comes along where you can just feel somebody's momentum.
Yes.
Sort of like, and I'm not saying this is like a winning person, like the person I'm about to say, but do you remember when Regina King got snubbed by SAG and BAFTA, but yet we all kind of knew she was still going to win?
Yeah.
It's like you're not even sure where it comes from. There's just a certain feeling in the momentum in the air. And I'm sure last night probably helped, but I don't know about you guys, but as much as we build up the importance of SAG and BAFTA, and not making the BAFTA long list, let alone not making a BAFTA nomination, not making the BAFTA long list means you're pretty far down on the list. It's weird that Wagner Moura missed both, but I don't think that changes anything.
Not at all.
I feel like he's the one that's got that momentum that's in the air. But it's weird. It is weird he missed both.
There was a ton of British skew, as Ashley refers to it, in the actor lineup that would not have made the list otherwise. So,
And again, I was just using King as an example. I don't think Mora is going to get nominated and beat Chalamet or anything. But it's just as far as getting to an Oscar nomination, I feel like he's still got momentum in the air to where I'm honestly, I didn't even consider taking him out after missing
no,
SAG and BAFTA.
God no.
Yeah, because when I look
Oh
at
my
that director list, with the specification that BAFTA will always nominate 5 men and 5 women, you kind of feel that Bigelow is there just as a, oh, you're one of the 5 women. You know,
my only
Hamlet and
issue
Die
is,
My Love, because of British skew, I think are the most likely to make it in.
well, there's nothing wrong with House of Dynamite, really. The only thing is that because that is absolutely on paper and when in execution, it's absolutely a Bigelow movie.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue is that it's still, and maybe it's a subconscious thing because I know where I'm watching it. It still fucking looks like a Netflix movie. That's its only issue. If it was like, I don't know. I don't know how you get past that, but or where that even comes from, but that's one thing that was throwing off where it's like, I feel like there's a great movie in here, but I can't get past the fact that I'm watching Netflix and I feel like it's visually telling me I'm watching Netflix. But the execution is great. But yeah. I'd love to see like Prime Bigelow have done that movie.
Yeah. Then, interestingly, Blue Moon making it into the 10 for original screenplay as well. Along with is this thing on, which kind of surprised me. But then again, it's hard to tell. Obviously, what off the top of your head, what would be sort of if there was a 10 with Oscar and where it'd go, sort of thing.
It's. I can say that I understand why it would be nominated for screenplay. They put a lot into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little too close for me right now, but I will say that yeah, there's a lot of greatness in Is This Thing On?
Apart from the fact that Arnett and Dern did the roundtables and Cooper did the directors on directors with Del Toro, is this its first mention in the entire award season?
I believe so.
Practically, yeah.
Because there's years, I hate to say this, it sounds like a broken record, but I mean, it's true. There's years that the Laura Dern performance would have been something that would have easily been nominated. Again, this year is way, way too packed. Especially a movie that comes out at literally the 11th hour.
Speaking of way too packed, another thing that might have helped her is momentum from that big scene with Sandler and Jay Kelly. But Dern just happened to go towards movies that were just going to be off the radar this year, apparently, for the most part.
Ballad of Wallace Island and Wake Up Dead Man, along with Pillion, to be fair, showing up in the adapted 10 as well, and Train Dreams. I guess that's sort of. I get Nuremberg. I don't get. I personally found that film okay. So why it made it in the 10 for Best Picture, I don't know.
They clearly liked it.
Yeah, somebody did. So then, yeah, so for leading actress, we've got Buckley, Byrne, Arivo, Hudson, Infinity, Lawrence, Rinsiv, Riseborough, Triggered, Stone, and Tessa Thompson.
No Amanda Seyfried. I would think.
It does just feel like Ann Lee was one of those movies that came, and I don't want to say anything here because I'm gonna say this, and then it's just gonna roll into Oscar morning and do weird shit. But
It happened.
it really was it the release that has made Ann Lee feel so inconsequential.
Fox Searchlight really screwed it over.
It's like I don't even know what its release schedule is. And we're in January talking about a 2025 movie.
It's next week.
Myself and Owen, when watching the Globes, were looking into the Rose Byrne situation, which we'll discuss that when we get to the Globes. In the UK, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You isn't opening until February the 28th. Like the very last day for cutoff to be eligible for BAFTA. So the fact that that still got the momentum because of the visibility. Yeah, I think Testament of Anne Lee's supposed to be coming out sometime between now and then. The fact that
Yeah,
sort
it's
of
slim.
that's completely been somewhat ignored kind of fascinates me. But Andrea Riseborough makes it in for Dragonfly, which is completely under the radar. I never heard any praise for that. I'm gonna double check what it is and when it came out.
Am I? Again, I'm getting a little ahead here, but just to kind of bottom line things here. What you notice when you look, like when Critics' Choice came out, and we talked about that, and then talking about the BAFTA long list, where it's stuff that goes beyond 5 in the
Mhm.
slots. We haven't really been hit with a lot of surprises, except
Especially if
for
you're
like,
actually paying attention.
yeah, because I feel like Mora and Cyfred not being here are the only people that are like in the conversation that aren't here, right?
Yeah.
In all 4 acting categories. Even fucking Sandler's here.
Hmm.
Well, even on the with leading actor, the fact that Hawke also made it into BAFTA and
Elle Fanning's not in there.
Killian Murphy for Steve as well. Along, because Chalamet makes sense, DiCaprio makes sense, Edgerton makes sense, Jordan makes sense, Clemens makes sense, and to some extent Hawke. But again, there's Russell Crowe for Nuremberg. I'm like, okay. And then you got the sort of the British ones like I Swear and Pillion making it in, and I guess Killian Murphy for Steve. So then on the supporting front for actress, we have Odessa Asian for Mighty Supreme, Brenda Blethyn for Dragonfly, Ariana for Wicked, Inga for Sentimental Value, Madigan for Weapons, Masaku for Sinners, Mulligan for Ballast of Wallace Island, Paltrow for Mighty Supreme, Taylor for One Battle, and Emily Watson for Hamnet.
No Elle Fanning.
I said another blow to Elle Fanning, but luckily we got on that a little early.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then with the supporting actor, we have Del Toro, Elordi, Lindo. Yay. Mescal, Peter Mullen for I Swear, Penn, Sandler, Andrew Scott for Blue Moon. It might happen. No.
Oh my god, I hope so. I want it so
Skarsgård
bad.
as well for Pillion, which I think is quite a good call. And Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. It could be. It could be a Skarsgård versus Skarsgård fight.
We did already get that amazing actors on actors with them. I hope people saw that. But yeah, nobody's really missing apart from Mora and Cyfred, right?
I'd say so. No.
That's actually like here, yeah.
Because even if you point out like Caton getting in at SAG, Caton and Lindo are pretty
I
much
mean, the
interchangeable.
British news were trying to make a big thing out of George and Dwayne not making it in, but I don't think Dwayne did. George had a chance, especially with the fact that at least Sandler got recognised for Jay Kelly.
I don't think, I don't know my personally, but I don't feel like mixed martial arts in UFC is as popular overall. So maybe they didn't
No,
take to the
well,
Smash.
no, I think it was well received. It's just, it's, well, especially because the UFC heavyweight champion at the minute is English, even though he got poked in the eye. We've got Paddy the Baddy, who might become world champion in his weight division in like 2 weeks. And obviously, even though he's Irish, the British sort of stuck to Conor McGregor. So there is an interest. I'm just thinking that there's enough big performances in the other stuff. Plus, as I say, with the British skew, 2 or 3 of at least those 10 slots are going to be British movies. So if you take that into account, at least on the leading front, if I scroll back up, yeah, Robert Aoyama for I Swear makes sense. Melling for Pillion, Killian Murphy for Steve. To a lesser extent, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, because obviously with Blue Moon you've also got the Andrew Scott thing. And then that random Russell Crowe for Nuremberg, which... Because the rest of the 5 just feel like what could be... I mean, if you include Ethan Hawke, the 6 that at least could be in the hunt for the actual Oscars. I felt that the rest of the list was going to be built up with British performances or British films to some extent.
I really want to comment on Nuremberg, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I wish I could.
Yeah, it's not every day that I defend a Russell Crowe performance, but I will here.
And then the fact that there's at least 2 or 3 within the shortlist for British short animation that I think are in the shortlist for Oscar, which I think is Cardboard and Overreacting. At least I can remember off the top of my head. And then, well, we know what Owen's British short film is going to be by default, considering the last entry of all the list is Wonderwall.
Well, of course. Please tell me it's an Oasis short film.
Or
It needs to be.
it's probably a toss up between that or This Is Endometriosis. um. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that develops, because I looked into it because I was like, trying to look at the dates and whatever for everything. Even though we're not getting the BAFTA nominations until after the Oscars, apparently we're getting Rising Star this week. I think it's like Thursday. So, I mean, I don't think you can. I don't think you could put. It's weird because of obviously the Rose Byrne thing coming out like 28th of February. Technically, Wuthering Heights could be considered in this list, maybe. In which case, do you try and put Owen Cooper in just because of Adolescence, even though it's not a movie? And I think the young guy that's in I Swear probably is in with a shout there as well. But the rest, it'll be interesting to see where they go for young actor. Maybe the kid from 28 Years, considering apparently
Possibly.
that performance was enough for him to get recognised at the what was it? Oh, I can't remember. The Arcos Awards or whatever, where he and the other humans lost to the dog in Good Boy for best horror actor.
Is it Alfie Williams? Is his name? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a chance for him, maybe. along with the Phoenician scheme, which we already sort of acknowledged. So we'll see. I'm intrigued as to who makes it into the 5 for the Rising Star, especially because that is, I think, publicly voted on to some extent. So then finally, the good old Globes. Actually, before that, because there'll be a bit of stuff in chat, we'll jump through that quickly. Josie saying, "Hey everybody, Happy New Year. Looks like tomorrow I'm finally watching Sentimental Value with my brother.
Nice.
Some are wondering, did Neon buy too many movies that they can handle?" Josie says, actually, before answering that, the systemic problem of awards being set up where they can only campaign 1 or 2 movies, and certain pundits have to stop being complicit or normalise these patterns. But I think as of now, it's still more likely than not for Neon to get 10 or 3 out of the 10 in Best Picture, but possibly only 2. Part of me pondering if it was just an accident or miss out for Sentimental Value and Secret Agent is what I'm saying. I mean, the problem is, of course, Neon is a very prolific buyer of foreign films and getting them seen. I feel it's only sort of in the last couple of years where we have now begin to see this momentum shift, arguably since Parasite got Best Picture, that foreign language films being put into Best Picture contention rather than just in the foreign language category is way more likely. It's something that Neon, may want to do, but to some extent, I mean, it didn't hurt Apple backing Coda as much as they did, which you can't say is foreign language, but considering how much of that film is subtitled, there's some idiots that would consider it foreign language because it's subtitled.
I was gonna say it's technically a different language, but not necessarily a foreign language.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't even remember how much Apple was really getting behind that at the time. Because I feel it's only sort of since then that you've begin to see Apple films show up or be in contention. See
What's
Tragedy
what's
of Macbeth a
weird,
few years back and all that.
unless I'm misremembering, it feels like Coda's entire campaign happened really late.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Because when it came out, when it had its initial release in like August or whatever it was, it kind of just came and went. And at some point, I don't even remember when its comeback happened in the awards season. I just remember by the time we got to like award shows, suddenly they were on like every talk show and doing the whole thing. It was really late, but the momentum, you could feel the momentum in there. And then winning PGA, like it all happened for Coda in like the span of a month or less.
Yeah.
That was because Power of the Dog was gonna steamroll, and
Mm-hmm.
Power of the Dog ended up only walking away with director. That was kind of an insane year without Will Smith, let alone that being that year. Yeah, because that was yeah, Dune took all the techs. That's what happened to Power of the Dog as well. So yeah, that was all over the damn place, which is fun, by the way. Wasn't boring.
Josie's new watches of the new year so far: Forbidden Zone from 1980, Miss 45, Happy Time, Clean Slate, Street Angel, King of New York, Two Family House, and Loving Couples.
Two of those movies are in reach right now. I got Clean Slate. I got Clean Slate down here, and I've got King of New York right here.
I figured those are the 2 you're going for. Those are the ones on the list I've actually seen.
Clean Slate is not great. I
No.
don't remember how I own it. If it's just a Dana Carvey thing, where it's like, sure, I'll support him. Why not?
Yes.
So most of the other stuff is relating to some extent to the globe. So I think we'll dabble into that now.
All right.
Generally, I feel Nikki did a good job as host. The Marty Supreme sort of K-pop segment was a bit questionable, but the subtle nod even at the end to Rob Reiner saying we put this show to 11 with her wearing the Spinal Tap cap was a
That was
nice
cool.
subtle touch.
She was kind of. I know they always do this, and it almost never lives up, but I know she was kind of building it up like she was gonna go full Gervais. But I think, apart from the CBS News joke, which was pretty risky, um, she felt really safe.
Maybe the stuff with Sean Penn to a lesser extent.
Yeah, yeah,
Best friends with El Chapo.
yeah. That was, yeah.
And then we find out him basically possibly doing illegal stuff by just lighting up a cigarette while at the table during the commercial breaks.
He lit up on Mulaney's show too. Was it Chelsea Handler or was it Nikki Glazer that did the A-list joke? Was that Glazer? Oh my God, how did we forget already? I think it was at the beginning of the Globes monologue
Yeah.
about how a lot of people in this room are on A-list.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
feel there
that,
was a lot of wording from like the CBS News.
yeah.
Pause. Pregnant pauses. That's I think the phrase is used.
That was the CBS News one. It was a very well written joke.
um. So yeah, we have. In terms of what was presented, Jennifer Garner and Amanda Seyfried presented supporting actress to Teyana Taylor, which obviously we've already dabbled on in terms of how well that was received.
Yeah.
Then supporting actor from Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick to Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value.
All right.
Puts him back in the
While
picture
we're
at
on
least.
before we get into how this shakes up the race, to talk about the show as a whole,
Okay.
I feel like Stellan Skarsgård is a good segue to talk about what the fuck was going on with last night's soundtrack.
Oh right.
Dude, I don't. Obviously, I'll defend the stuff that Glazer came out to all the Taylor music and everything, but there's so many like needle drops that happen that
why
those
why were we in the early to mid 2000s all night with the music?
nothing made sense. I really feel like the DJ basically just like spin the wheel, make the deal, let's go.
Well, there was the one where I'm not familiar with the song, but I heard people talking about this. That Macaulay Culkin came out to a song called "Return of the Mac."
Yes,
Oh yeah.
That
exactly.
makes
That part I marked out for that.
Mark
see that
Morrison's
makes sense.
Return of the Mac.
That was cool. Love that song.
That made sense, and there was another one that made sense that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But other than that, but I know it was fucking Lil Jon and Stellan Skarsgård, where it was like, what are we doing?
I don't understand what some of those. I mean, I really feel that if I would have paid attention to like specifics and wrote down, I have a feeling I might be able to have figured out a little bit about what their meaning was, but probably not too much.
It
The
felt
excuse is
like
they
you were.
wanted to
It
have
felt
a
like the
party in the room, so there was stuff to do during the breaks, and like, yeah, but usually that airs off camera. They play that sort of style of music. Me and Owen, no, we remember back to those glory days of the feed where it was like, 30 seconds, applause, please, applause.
Owen. I remember the other song choice that made sense.
Mm.
They played "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" for Shallow Now.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I didn't need to hear that last night, but I did.
Why was he the only one that actually got a song from his movie?
That was the other thing as well. It was like, you know, all the other award ceremonies will play something relating to that project.
Yeah.
But here it was just like, yeah, Breakout Pop Party Volume 7, please.
DJRoulette.com.
Which I guess sums up the show, though, because we had two podcast hosts yapping through the entire bloody thing. We got
There were these
we
myth
got
arcs trying to
gambling
do
on the screen.
commentary on the show.
We got gambling on the screen, and apparently backstage, which hopefully nobody told Jesse Plemons that, because there's a blatant graphic where it's like, you know, whatever that Poly Market or whatever the shit it's called, where it's like, Jesse Plemons, best actor, percentage chance of winning, 0. Like
0. God dang, that's wrong.
And it's like I could kind of understand putting that stuff up if there was like if they were like close, but every single one of them was like, this is what's winning, this is what isn't.
Yes, it was that sort
93%,
of far over.
4%.
I want. I don't know about you guys. I wanted so badly for one of those to lose, just to make it all look like bullshit.
Don't get me started on the very last one that they showed on screen, where it's like, I think it was it the studio for best comedy had like 92%, and then the ones below were sort of like 6% and 4%. So it was like, well, obviously the studio's winning, and then it was like, hold on, 92 plus 6 plus 4 is 102%. How the shit can you have 102% of 100% chance of winning?
That's worse than Steiner math. At least Steiner math makes sense. No, it reminded me of when the Golden Globes tried to basically tell us that Sylvester Stallone was going to win Best Actor, and that totally didn't happen.
Oh, you mean supporting against Mark Rylance?
Yes.
And everybody lost their shit when Rylance won.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like, tell me you weren't watching. And I get it, though. I get it. Because we just talked about that momentum in the air thing. Stallone had that.
Yes, he totally did.
Because Stallone didn't have SAG or BAFTA, I'm pretty sure.
Nope.
So that kind of makes sense, but yeah. He's not, believe it or not, Sylvester Stallone is not Regina King. Put that sentence in any other context.
Dear God. Speaking of not Regina King, let's go into television.
Owen was triggered enough by both times we saw the KPMG people, and it's like, those are the fuckers from 10 years ago that did La La Land out of it. We recognize those faces. You're the ones that ruined it.
PricewaterhouseCooper, you're entering a world of pain.
No, KP. That's the. Wait, if that was that PwC that did it 10 years ago? Because if it wasn't KPMG, they switched companies, but it's still them.
I was preparing to leave to change my life forever 24 hours later, and I find out that. I don't recall if it was PwC or not, but I think it was.
Yeah. Them, Lisa Manabau and Pranaka Chopra Jonas giving Noah Wiley his award.
Our first points of the night.
I was starting to wonder if we were all going to ace TV and just completely flop on movies, which
It
is
certainly seemed that way.
it's almost what happened.
Yeah.
Very much true.
And then Hayes on it and Bateman, who really didn't appreciate apparently being called out. One of the few humorous bits from the early part of
I
the
was gonna
show.
say maybe I was gonna say maybe I just love Bateman that much, but that was one of my favorite things of the night. I think
Yeah,
I love the way they all played off that, and the way Hayes did the about 3 seasons too long.
yeah.
All of that was perfect comedic timing.
Giving the award to Gene Smart, of course. Then Luke Grimes and Justin Hartley for the supporting male actor to Owen Cooper for Adolescence. Then Zoe Kravitz and Dave Franco giving the award to their co-star. It's just weird.
I did like Franco's delivery of when Zoe Kravitz said, "I'm Zoe Kravitz, I don't need your shrooms," and then Dave Franco said, "I'm not Zoe Kravitz, I'll take your shrooms."
Yeah.
That was a good bit.
Then again, tying into the gambling stuff, I did see a very hilarious tweet saying, "Well, I lost all my college fund on Polymarket because I was expecting Seth Rogen to thank Sal Sattenstein or whatever, Ike's character from the thing, because it said it was a 98% chance on the fucking Polymarket."
Well, he already said at the Emmys they weren't going to because it's too much of a low hanging joke. It's too obvious.
And then we had the interesting put together video package for podcast, basically calling out AMC for having refitting their cinemas.
Okay, so was that bit? I love Marin showing up,
Mm-hmm.
but was that whole bit just anti everything? Because it was kind of showing it was doing I guess we're still on the AMC thing, the Nicole Kidman thing. Apparently, that's a joke that's still happening somehow.
I've been seeing it for years now.
And then it was basically saying movies are dead, so we just have podcasts and we have to deal with that. And then they were intentionally showing clips that make podcasts look like mundane bullshit, which is kind of what we were saying.
Which is,
Most podcasts are mundane bullshit.
the style of Bateman's one though is like that's how it goes. The fact that they were actively happy with the clip for "Call Her Daddy" or whatever being a fucking, this podcast is brought to you by Honey, especially with everything that's happened with that over apparently the last 24-48 hours, where that's getting fun.
The only the only
So-
one that the only one that came out of that unscathed was NPR, I think.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just that's like going after PBS. You just can't like do anything because there's really nothing to say. It's
Also,
that boring.
It's a
Doesn't
news
matter.
podcast. It's not like opinion.
It's
like
literally an
statement of
SNL
facts.
sketch. And again, I say this before, and it makes sense. Where was New Heights here? Like, seriously? It's popular. They just literally had Matt Damon on the other night and George Clooney.
I
So
can tell.
I don't know why they wouldn't be listed in this lineup, honestly.
I can tell I can tell by the way what you're a fan of has shifted in your life, because you're on about this, but not about Conan's podcast not being here.
I don't know why Conan's podcast isn't on here. I thought that, just like we said the other day, I feel like that remained unsaid. Obviously, I'm going to go with Conan over everything else.
Of course, I don't know
What's the rules for best podcast?
Well, apparently their short list came from like the most listened list or something, but
New Heights.
not only do I just not really know or care about these, but I don't know what's like would Conan have been far down on that list or what? I have no idea.
I don't know what his range is when it comes to his show. Again, I just the last thing I watched with Conan was when he had Danhausen on.
Wasn't that before Danhausen was famous?
No, he was popular, but he wasn't like Danhausen yet.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I'll watch if
I
it's
mean,
like the thing about it is I love especially like when he has Bill Hader or something like that. His interview with Colin Hanks was really great. I always find that I have to go. They don't like pop up for me. I have to go look for them for
Mhm.
Conan. So I don't know what that says.
I found a new show the other day, just like time traveling through YouTube, just like Dave Attell taught me, and I've been watching that lately. So that's been fun, like reliving somebody from my past. That is interesting to see hosting a podcast now, which is interesting.
Well, I guess we'll get to the other big criticism this category is getting, which we were kind of already talking about, and everybody else was already talking about, but the fact that the night actually went the way it did only highlighted this even more. Um, it's not just that this category exists. It's the one category they decided was less important than this that they
That's true.
decided to cut.
Here's the
But
best part. Do you know the background about this? You weren't watching social media when this was going on.
social
So
media.
fair. So Ashley gave me the Iggy that there was a list that was out that was going to be the order of presenters, and it pretty much rang true, except for one notable exception: best original score. Well, not only was best original score not given out on the broadcast, I randomly see on X that it was already given to Goranson, and there was no speech whatsoever because they didn't have time.
There's a there's a speech on YouTube.
Yeah.
The video exists, yes, but you would know that if you didn't look for it.
Oh yeah, I totally had to
Somebody
look.
actually in the hall filmed it, and it was
Yes,
only a few hours later did they officially put it up, I guess, on their social medias with the speech and everything. But it's more
Yeah,
the
because you
fact
could.
that we had Judd Apatow roasting directors for like what felt like 2 years.
that
Apparently, we
needed to
did,
die for
and all
death.
this obsession about podcast stuff, but we didn't have time for 4 minutes of introducing the scores and then letting Ludwig's talk for like a minute and a half.
Well,
And we
what's even crazier about this is in the background of Gorenson's speech, you can see Joe Keery and who was he presenting with? Ana de Armas,
that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, let me double check.
who did present. They presented song.
Mm-hmm.
For them standing behind Goranson means they did it the way the show always does it. They did song and score together,
Yep.
They did.
but for some reason, that still was not enough for them to not say, "Oh, we don't need this." I don't. I can't even remember what the structure was. Did they do song and then it just abruptly went to
Yeah.
commercial and then they did
Yeah.
Goranson?
They
What
cut
happened?
to commercial, and then while commercial was happening, they did score. Sort of a la how you see it sometimes, when they do, at least with BAFTA, when they do the ones that don't get televised and they stick later on, you can tell they sort of presented them sort of next to each other. So yeah, that is what happened.
So uh, I've got several thoughts in my head, but we can move on.
Yeah, just acknowledging as well, Golden did win, Which now actually hearing the backstory about basically the actress who I think is one of the ones that portrays the actor versions of the K-pop rather than the singing voices. I'm not sure. Was basically a fail. Was told you're not good enough to be an idol. She's really sticking it to the system now, isn't she? In that respect, I now don't. Even though I don't think it's as good a song as a few of the Sinners ones and whatever, if it's sticking it to the system that said you're not good enough, good. Let it happen. Let them come groveling back and like, oh, can we have you now? And then she just got no.
Don't be a backup plan.
Yeah.
Words to live by.
Then Macaulay Culkin presenting screenplay to PTA.
Yes.
And then the Last Showgirl reunion. With
That was so cool.
And Miley Cyrus presenting Best Actress in a Comedy to Rose Byrne. And then no doubt so many people are like, she's got an Australian accent because of everything else that she does. And then apparently only trusting Jennifer Lopez to present an award to Chalamet. Next we had Catherine Hahn and a much slimmer, in a good way, looking Melissa McCarthy presenting both the limited series actor and actress awards to
somebody
Stephen Graham and Michelle Williams, the first of our They Didn't Show Up.
Somebody presenting one of the comedy categories, was it? I can't remember if it was Julia Roberts or maybe it was Pamela Anderson, but I feel like somebody was calling out how when they played the clip montage, nothing looked like a fucking comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you see, and maybe Rose Byrne said something, and in fucking Apatow, since you mentioned Apatow earlier, still on the Martian bullshit.
Yep.
And I will still stand by that the Martian is hilarious. You know what I can't say that about? If I had legs, I'd kick you.
No. God, no.
And I loved how they used the most thrillery looking clips possible for Begonia every time.
I would say, and AJ, you may agree with me or not. I think you'll be kind of on my boat here. If I had legs, I'd kick you. It's just really uncomfortable, and it's designed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's essentially, well, because Bronstein
mm-hmm.
and the Safdie connection.
Right.
It's the, I don't know how to say, what, the women's version of a Safdie movie?
Maybe.
What it is.
I have to throw myself under the bus here. There's 2 times during this ceremony, I don't want to forget this because these are things that I don't know. I look at the screen. I was watching the show, and I see something for a second, and then I see something for a second. I was like, I just made a snap declaration, and Ashley heard both of them because we were watching it on Discord. I've never seen Adolescence, obviously. I don't watch television, and I don't think I've seen Stephen Graham before.
You've seen Stephen Graham many times.
But I don't know him by face.
He's Tommy in Snatch.
Okay.
He was Tony Pro in The Irishman.
Okay.
Oh my god, I know there's more.
I don't know him by face, is what it is.
He was the guy in Snatch that was always with Jason Statham.
You know who I thought Stephen Graham was when I first saw him on screen?
I feel like I know, but I can't put my finger on. But I'm gonna know when you say.
You're gonna be disappointed in me. And Ashley could back this up because he heard me say it.
Let's hear it.
I thought Stephen Graham was Kevin Spacey.
Wow, that's not where I thought that was headed. I mean, given that, no.
You're not even going to go with that one. Good job.
There is
Smart.
a scene. There is a scene in the first episode of Adolescence. There's a joke to be made. There is a scene where Stephen Graham is in the room while a child is strip searched. So
I
mean, let's not. I'm not.
Well,
I'm
again,
I'm actually signing off right now. Goodbye, guys.
Let's deviate from that topic and the one of the other ones that is actually funny.
Owen, did you see Boiling Point?
No.
Right, so that's why we probably wouldn't have noticed him, at least in a leading capacity.
No.
Because I think he was Matilda's dad in the musical a few years back.
Yeah.
Never would have seen that.
But I'm pretty sure. I don't even know if you saw this, but I'm pretty sure he's in Gangs of New York somewhere.
I mean, I saw the movie many times, but it's like
there's a lot of people in Gangs of New York.
There's a ton of people in Gangs of New York. No, I saw someone on the red carpet earlier in the night, and I thought it was someone else. And this one's not problematic at all. So obviously, we just went through a Horror Night season several months ago, and Fallout was something that was not necessarily taken to by most of the general public that went through it. A lot of, like, its fan base liked it, but it was universally panned overall, which sucks because they did what they could with what they had. Okay. And
considering you were a somewhat supporter of the film, I'm surprised you didn't recognize him from Springsteen. He's Jeremy Allen White's dad.
He is, isn't he?
That's how quickly I forgot Deliver Me From Nowhere. I wouldn't have even thought to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been lost to the back of my mind. If it's even there at all. No, when I watched... So, talking about Fallout, you know what I'm going to say. Walton Goggins shows up on the red carpet. And I didn't know that's who it was. I thought immediately he was someone else.
The only person that could be mistaken for Walton Goggins is Kevin J. O'Connor, and I know that's not who you're thinking of.
No. It was a split second, and I just looked at the screen and saw it, and I thought it for a second. I was like, well, it makes sense why he's here. I was like, really? No, it doesn't. He wouldn't be at the Globes. Doesn't make much sense. Yeah, I thought Walton Goggins was Billy Crystal.
That makes significantly less sense than the Spacey thing.
I don't know.
Are you okay, dude?
I guess it depends on who you ask. I have a lot of pain coursing through my body at all times at this moment, so maybe.
Then we had Kevin Hart do the cinematic and box office achievement, which went to Sinners.
Yeah, good job, Ashley.
Which I now have known is the curse, because everything so far that's done box office achievement pretty much doesn't win anything for the rest of the night. So, no wonder everybody wanted to get up on stage. They just didn't know it.
Okay. I should have mentioned this earlier, but I didn't think to, because we kind of rolled along and we got sidetracked by the score thing. That's what happened. So I've been a big supporter of I Lied to You should be the front runner, even though Golden's gonna run away with it.
Right.
Can we all take a second to note the fucking sound of the cheering when they said I lied to you?
Mm-hmm.
That was the loudest cheer, I think, of the night, as far as them listing nominees. Am I hearing things?
No.
And I know they in the room weren't voting for this. And I'm not saying Golden's going to get dethroned. I'm not saying that either, but this is like the one category where I'm like, I
If
know it has a huge fan base, but I just don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get
if the
how we're going in this
majority of the
direction.
people in the room are obviously the Oscar voters, there's more of a shout of it possibly not only getting in, which I think it's probably a given, but there's a chance it could sneak in and actually win the Oscar, not just play second fiddle to Golden.
Well, I'll be one of the people not throwing a holy shit fit if that happens.
Ben,
I don't want to. I don't want to anger or upset or even offend K-pop's fan base.
It's
You
not
know,
a good
Demon Hunter fan base.
not a good idea.
I'm just saying I have a personal preference, and to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. But go on.
the previously mentioned Judd Apatow bit where PTA got director.
Yes.
Then another relatively humorous bit where Keegan Michael Key as Toad and Mila Kunis as Meg.
Again, that's a pretty good joke.
Yeah. Presented animated
They
to
set they
K-pop
set
Demon
that
Hunters.
they
So
set that very well.
you saw, it's funny because I remember seeing Benny Blanco sitting with Selena Gomez in the crowd, and his mind was super blown when she broke into the Meg voice. You can just tell. It's like, oh, it's real. Not to throw him under the bus. He's a jam up guy, but I mean, but still.
Then we had Orlando Bloom and Minnie Driver presenting non-English language to Secret Agent.
Yes. It really needed this win.
And then
It just everything about the international section of this section of movies, has been really interesting this whole season. Because you've got the one that was always like the one everybody had in the picture lineup, which is Sentimental Value from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an accident, was kind of there too, but not as strongly as Sentimental Value. Sentimental Value also has all the performances
Mm-hmm.
that are getting noted. And then the Secret Agent just kind of, I mean, Secret Agent had, Wagner Moura won at Cannes, right?
I believe so.
So it was like kind of in talks, like Wagner Moura in The Secret Agent could do something. And then The Secret Agent as a movie is really showing itself now.
Yes.
So that whole category is really, because you would think Sentimental Value would be the one at the top, but we're kind of shell gaming it a little bit.
It was just an accident. Seems like it's taken some beating. And I don't necessarily want to reveal my hand, but I mean, I am the one who has had Panahi and director for quite a while now, and it just feels like every day it's more probable that's going to slip out.
And the crazy thing is that we're talking about this, but we're not talking about industry voting yet.
No.
So it's really hard to tell what the Academy will do, especially since we don't have a grasp at all of how they feel about a lot of these, because all we've really got to go on is Sentimental Value getting in the PGA lineup, and that's about it. So this is, yeah, that whole section is wild.
Then Connor Story and Hudson Williams from Heated Rivalry, which will probably get forgotten about in 12 months when we have awards. Gave Erin Doherty the Supporting Female Actor Award in TV. And Wanda Sykes.
Was that?
Oh, go ahead.
Are we not sure about the execution of that UFC bodyguard joke? It felt like was the joke that they were the bodyguards of the heated rivalry guys? Is that what it was?
Oh yeah, that UFC random thing. Yeah. Which
It
was
felt like
blatantly done just to promote the fact that CBS and Paramount are the new home for UFC now.
Yeah, because I think the joke was, oh, here's a super masculine thing to present the gay love story. But it
Even
felt like
though it's a gay love story in ice hockey, which hockey fights are definitely masculine. Even when it's
yeah.
women having hockey fights.
And also the fact that the UFC thing felt like an entirely different event than them coming out. It felt like two totally different things that just happened. So yeah, the
it was a disjointed part of Bill and Ted.
Yeah,
the best way to describe it. It felt like a Bill and Ted skit.
The blatant commercial was the blatant commercial, is what it was.
Then Wanda Sykes had to thank God and the trans community. It was bloody brilliant. Because Ricky Gervais did get stand up for. In hindsight, actually having sort of looked at some of the clips properly from it, Gervais is the most safe answer you could do there, rather than something that was actually daring to do something different. The most unsafe bit was Wanda saying thanking God and the trans community for it.
It was fun to see Mr. Thin Skin himself, Bill Maher, take that joke.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Yeah, I feel like Bill Maher has just pissed off everybody at this point. Is the problem.
Then Dakota Fanning and Queen Latifah gave out actress in a TV drama to Rhea Seehorn for Pluribus. And in turn, drama itself to Duppet.
We forgot to mention that apparently the president of Queen Latifah's fan club is Stephen Graham.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I love that. It reminded me.
Apparently, backstage he just like chatted with Snoop Dogg, and like Snoop was like, "You're the man," and Stephen Graham's like, "Oh, okay."
It was more connected because they were nominated alongside each other. It reminded me of the end of Olivia Colman's Oscar speech when she just yelled Lady Gaga.
Yes.
Then Io DeBerry and Heidi Steinfeld presented limited series to adolescents.
I don't want to go into it. It kind of comes up now with Io, and it's gonna kind of come up again because of somebody that was nominated for it. I'm not gonna go into a whole thing here. I'm just gonna say one thing really quick. I saw After the Hunt this week. That is a fucking insane movie. And I don't know if I mean that positive or negative.
Yeah.
That's an accurate representation of the movie.
Positive and negative. That's a fucking insane movie.
It is.
It does feel like a Guadagnino film, though. You can't take that away from it.
I'm looking forward to pondering why it's so crazy for the next several months. Regardless of anything else you can say about it.
Then Adam Scott and Marlon Wayans with a nice white dudes joke, which I feel only Adam Scott would get away with. Doing best musical or comedy to the studio.
I love when Seth Rogen got all the way to the stage, and then he had the epiphany. Oh shit! Adam Scott was on our show too. I believe Adam Scott's in the Globes episode too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Adam Scott's the first one to thank Sal Saperstein.
Yeah.
He starts the whole thing.
Then Chris Pine and Ana de Armas gave Best Actress in a Drama to Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. And then Diane Lane and Colin Domingo giving Best Actor to Wagner Moura, which was good to see. Then Julia Roberts, who may have committed an Oscar sin because she basically was on fucking television in front of God knows how many millions on CBS saying you should watch. What was it? I can't remember the name. Ava's film. Sorry, baby.
So, yeah.
Sorry, baby.
Yeah.
Like she was literally.
I know.
Does that count as
People-
against campaigning? Like, is Andrea Riseborough here? Like,
People have people was when I would say not, because she was presenting a category that Sorry Baby wasn't in.
mm-hmm. True.
That thought did cross my mind. But the other thing was, I know people have gone on her case before for making her presentations about herself. She did that when she gave Denzel his Oscar for Training Day. But in this case, it's like, if you're gonna because everybody in the room was worshiping her all night. It was like the 2022 ceremony where Brad Pitt was there and everybody called him out and like bowed to him. To use that moment to be in a room where everybody's worshiping you to put over Sorry Baby, I'm completely okay with this. I very much support that decision.
Giving the award to one battle after another, obviously. And then George Clooney comes out. And then Don Cheadle just pops in. So we basically had our Ocean's 14 confirmation from the last two.
Yeah, I was going to say, I assume we're building momentum towards that since news has been trickling in recently about that.
I wouldn't be
being
surprised.
A possibility.
Although I did like
at
the
first,
whole sort of, they didn't stand up for you, did they? And they're like, Chalamet, how old are you? 30? The last time he won one of these was when you were 3.
I'll be completely honest about something. It took me a second. It was when he said, like, I just saw Julia, or they just stood for Julia or something, is when it clicked, like, oh yeah, the Ocean's 11 connection.
Yeah.
The fact that they built up that Roberts and Clooney would be doing the best pictures, I assumed they'd come out together and they do them both like they've done. But it was like, no, we had to, squeeze one more thing in. So Roberts does her own thing, then we have Clooney doing his thing. Then we're getting to, like, the show is wrapping up. Like, we've reached the time limit. So I imagine Clooney's going to come out and he's going to hurry. And that's how the show was going to end. So when I saw Cheadle come out while he was in the middle of giving his thing, for a second I had a Will Smith flashback. And my stomach dropped a little bit. It's like, what the fuck is Don Cheadle doing? Like, we haven't seen him all night. Where did he come from? And why is he interrupting this? And it's like, oh, they're doing an Ocean's thing. Okay. There was a second where I thought Don Cheadle had gone rogue for a second.
I mean, people would have said, if he'd have showed up with Julia Roberts, people would have said, oh, it's just because of Boogie Nights, right?
Yeah. I did love I think when he won screenplay, I loved when PTA kind of looked around the room and said, "I've written dialogue for a lot of the people in this room." Just something about that I just really loved, and he called out Sandler specifically.
Although the amount of times Michael DeLuca was shouting at PTA, bring up David Zaslav, and nobody dared. Which is hilarious because Zaslav nearly fired DeLuca because of the budget for One Battle After Another. Now that it's getting all the awards, Zaslav's willing to sort of smirk and go, I'll allow it.
I just
yeah,
need.
the last
I
sort
need,
of the surprise, one of the only few surprises, Hamnet getting drama.
if I think if we had known they were gonna do Sinners dirty like that,
Yeah,
that's easily the direction we would have gone next.
more than likely. Although now I
But
do now wonder in what I feel is the category fraud. Because I wouldn't say One Bat After Another is out and out comedy, especially as we have the satellites considering it drama. What would have happened otherwise? My guess is One
if
Bat
what
After Another probably would have taken drama, probably,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
which then leaves it up in the air as what comedy could have been.
Probably Marty Supreme.
That would have made more sense, yeah.
That would make the most sense, yeah.
But I would say Marty Supreme and One Battle After Another are kind of on equal footing of the whole comedy argument. They're both thrillers, basically. As is Begonia. But yeah, I would say I've been saying something since before we did these on air, and Owen has brought this up repeatedly. There is a history of the Globes killing movies.
Yep. I said it last show.
And I would say Hamnet's going to enjoy this victory and call it a day with its Best Actress Oscar.
Yep.
I know people who barely pay attention are going to run with this, but I would say that this is Hamnet's big victory that's not an actress win for the season.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Because again, number one, you could chalk it up to Globe's history, what happened with Sinners, if you want. Or you could chalk it up to them deciding it's going to get the bullshit award, and then they're just not going to get. It's like the Robert Altman Award at the Spirit Awards. If you give it that, then you don't give it anything else. You don't give it anything else on air, apparently. But I would say I'm just already imagining all the people that are going to say, "Oh my God, Hamnet just passed Sinners in Oscar odds," and it's like, no, it didn't. Sinners might break a nomination record. Sinners is fine. The Globes are just being the Globes.
Yeah. Which
and one battle is going to win anyway, so.
Which, in regards to our predictions, means it was a three-way tie last night. Which I want to say it's the first time. It might have happened possibly before on something.
I think our predictions here were the closest they've ever been as far as all of us going for a lot of the same things.
Yeah,
certainly
for sure.
The TV, there was no difference bar me going for Pluribus against the Pit, so everything else we just matched up on. And the fact that we pretty much got them all bar if you take into account all the TV categories, Michelle Williams' actress in miniseries is the only thing that we missed. That's how
I do have
predictable
to
they were this year.
talking about something else that we missed as a group. Um, there is something I want to say that I feel is kind of important to say. So much so that I'm going to say it Thursday also, but I want to say it now to get it out there. Um, and I had this conversation with, I had quite a conversation with Owen about this.
Yeah.
Um, since our last video, I've rewatched Sinners again. And in the last video, in our prediction video, the reason I went with Greenwood was I said that when I watch Sinners, I only think of the songs. I don't remember the score. So when I was rewatching Sinners, it was like the opening scenes when we see the twins for the first time. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember this music. And then it's the scene when he's like with Woman Masaku at the house, and it's like, oh shit, I remember this music. And then it's like anytime Jack O'Connell's around and they're playing that creepy funeral music, it's like, oh shit, I remember this music. Yeah, it's got a whole ass amazing memorable score. I just did not remember in the moment. And as soon as I was watching it, I was like, that's a point I'm going to lose at the Globes. And that's exactly what happened. So yes, Sinners does have a memorable score. My brain just fucked up on me. So, and I'll mention that again when we're doing score on Thursday, but I just wanted to get that out.
Hmm. So overall, that means no change, obviously, in the positions. But the subtotals so far are myself on 44, Owen on 46, and AJ on 50. So there is a strong possibility that just because of how predictable these were and the critics to some extent, we all might be over 100 this year, possibly. Which in hindsight is a
Too
bit
bad we
crazy.
don't have. It's too bad we don't have another show to like over a fucking month from now.
Well,
Then we kind of get them almost consecutively once we get to them, don't we?
but we have the DGAs on the 7th of February. So we have that, but then the Independent Spirits are on the 15th. Then there's another week gap. Oh no, there isn't. The BAFTAs are the week after that. Then PGA is the 28th, along with SAG on March the 1st. Then, even though we won't live cover it, we'll have to do it, I guess, as part of the Oscar predictions outright. WGA is March 8th, and then Oscars is March 15th. So it's sort of the lull before the storm in early February. I mean, I'll be keeping an eye on the Satellite Awards and see what happens there, which is, I think, also March 8th, so that's the week before the Oscars as well. So, because I will try and bring those up in terms of, because I always like to list like the precedent of what may or may not have momentum by going through all the awards for that category that carry over into other ones. So obviously your acting ones, you got your BAFTAs, your SAGs, your Critics' Choice, your Golden Globes, your Satellite Awards, Independent Spirit, that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll keeping an eye on it anyway. In terms of stuff in the chat, so this will be wrapping through the stuff. Josie saying, so happy for Rhea Seahorn. Can't stress how hot Wagner Moore is. He did look pretty cool. Garanson's long hair made him look like a classic rock star. Yeah, I see that. I love what PTA said in his speech about taking from writers. I saw Song Sung Blue last weekend and had a blast. Kate Hudson was outstanding and I couldn't help but jam along. Susula, man.
Yep.
A tender depiction of middle-aged romance. Favorite couple singing scenes in movies. Minnie Driver singing purposefully out of tune in Goldeneye because I keep forgetting she was in that.
Elephant Love Medley and Come What May. I always go to Moulin Rouge when I talk about couples singing together.
Any come to mind for you, AJ?
A Walk to Remember.
I'm gonna have an amazing answer to this after we're off the call, I'm sure. By the way, Owen, I need to mention one more thing. Now that I was gonna bring this up and then I forgot, and then you just happened to say that, which is crazy. I just saw. We already talked about how Ryan Coogler was inspired by the luck of the Irish for Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Coogler was doing another interview with Michael B. Jordan, and they were asked what their guilty pleasure movies are. Do you know what Coogler's answer was?
A Walk to Remember.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a solid movie.
He said that, and Jordan said A Low Down Dirty Shame, which I also love as an answer.
That is a great answer. I don't know. I was expecting him to say like Booty Tang or something like that. Something really outrageous.
Yeah, like the movies Coogler loves. I need a whole list. I need him to give me a list.
You need the Barack Obama list for Ryan Coogler. Is what you need.
Forbidden Zone's a musical featuring Oingo Boingo. Recently finished reading The Ash Family by Molly Dektar, disturbing but fantastic, beautiful novel about a woman sucked into a nature cult. Probably tying into that, I'm happy Begonia has been having a good showing in places. I think it could be in the 10. Rewatch Train Dreams, beautiful film.
Yes.
If only John Candy were alive to see Amy Madigan in Weapons and the Oscar campaign. Yeah?
Yeah.
I saw she recently reunited with Gabby Hoffman, and then surely she reunited with Culkin at the Globes.
I would say so.
Josie acknowledging some great insight from you, AJ. I think that was when we were talking either the PGA or the Longlist stuff, at least from time from when it was put in the chat. My gut saying PGA will go 8 for 10. I think Weapons in F1 will be most likely to miss. Train Dreams maybe could miss, but I think it's been showing strength. I like K-pop Demon Hunters, but God, I wish Little Amelie was winning. I'll eventually find out for that because they're actually weirdly doing pre-booking for it at my local not multiplex. Well, it's got like 7 screens, but it's not the thing I'd expect pre-booking for. That's all I'm saying. I love that Odessa's stock is rising.
Hey, don't sleep on her getting that 5th slot in supporting actress.
Been watching episodes of King of the Hill and Recess lately in celebration because of course her mum voiced Bobby Hill in King of the Hill and Spinelli on Recess. And then mentioning Brittany Murphy doing Luann's voice in King of the Hill too.
I like King of the Hill.
Somebody pointed out that when Odessa cries in Marty, she sounds like Bobby Hill, and after seeing it, I can concur. She sounds like both Bobby Hill and Spinelli.
Didn't cross my mind before, but now it's going to be impossible to not hear.
Just in terms of the film side of the Globes, I got 13 out of 15, Bry says. Hi, Bry. Only categories I got wrong were screenplay and foreign, as I went with sentimental value on both. Smurfy making the bold prediction saying Kate Hudson. Anybody predicting Kate Hudson in Best Actress can stop now after last night.
Nope.
SAG is influential enough that something could happen with that. It not necessarily means that she's going to be a winner in the Oscars.
Oh.
But she could be the number 4 or 5 depending how you look at it. I would argue.
I'm comfortably having her in my 5 right now.
I was gonna wait till Thursday, but I guess I'll go ahead and say this now since it's been brought up. I didn't. I did not go with Hudson, but you'll see what I did on Thursday. Very uncertainly.
Oh, we got a quote from
I'm still
Oh, go ahead.
I'm still stuck on the couple singing question. For some reason, the only thing I'm thinking of is "Damn It, Janet."
That's a great one as well, for obvious reasons.
Janet Planet. Yes. A quote from Inga Lilias on the award season food. The food or lack thereof at ceremonies is very odd, but I'm thankful to be fed at all, so I won't complain. Although that was also an interesting spot that myself and Owen saw on social media last night, where apparently one of the coffee warmers basically fell over and nearly set fire to the curtains in the backstage area. So we
Oh wow.
we nearly we nearly had a fire at the. Josie says, AJ, would you call F1 fuck one?
I don't dislike the movie. There's a review on this channel.
Yeah.
But I'm just like middle ground on it. I don't understand why Act 2 happened twice.
True.
That's fair.
It's like every racing movie has the scene where they crash and they go to the hospital and they have to recover and get back in the race. And then Damson Idris does it, and then Pitt does it. The whole thing. I don't know.
At least in real life, Nicky Lauda only had to nearly die once to make it interesting for the 1976 season.
And like I've said frequently, I was kind of unfair to it because I kept thinking about Ford versus Ferrari, and I happen to think that Ford versus Ferrari is like a perfect movie, and was able to have like an equal balance of character drama and the racing aspect and the cinematic aspect, and I feel like F1 was surprisingly lacking the cinematic aspect in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
When F1 is cinematic, holy fucking shit, is it cinematic? But I feel like that wasn't often enough, and the character drama wasn't. I wasn't invested in that enough for it to be like the main factor. Like I'm not saying, oh, I need more racing and fuck the characters. I'm just saying, Ford versus Ferrari showed you can have a perfect balance. And that's all I kept thinking about. Even though I try not to compare movies while I watch them, sometimes I can't help it.
Bry saying both Wicked for Good and Avatar are done for picture. Although Josie does clarify it's fire in ass, not fire and ash.
That's another thing I was gonna bring up Thursday, but fuck it, I'll say it now. I imagine a small fraction of people. Well, here's the thing. I've been on the Avatar thing since we started in August, and we're calling what I had Avatar in. We're calling the blockbuster spot. But the thing about it is, I took Avatar out to put again. So I don't know what that spot is called for me, but as soon as, but it was like I knew I had to bump something out to put Begonia back in, and Avatar had to make PGA for me to stick with that, and since it didn't, it was pretty easy for me to say, I guess that's where Avatar is now. So, yeah.
Joe's saying best editing typically has top best picture films, many assuming that the identical SAG and DJ5 are the top 5 for best picture. Which do you think is most likely to miss editing?
What are we talking about the what are we talking about? Sorry.
Well, the fact that the DGA and SAG match up in terms of One Battle After Another, Sinners, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, and Hamnet.
Yes. Are we saying which one of those
which
is
of
likely
the
to
5 you think is most likely to miss out on editing?
Hamnet or Frankenstein?
Yeah, one of
I don't
those
have
two,
either
I feel.
Frankenstein in my editing lineup.
Yeah, one. I feel like One Battle, Sinners, and Marty Supreme are like. I don't want to say. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, But if I was to put only 3 movies in editing, it would be those 3 movies.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
With Lanthimos making BAFTA Longlist, I wonder if he could be as a surprise director nod. I mean, maybe.
You know, it's a thought that's crossed my mind this week.
It was a mistake.
Somebody, no matter what happens, no matter what happens, at least 2 people have to be snubbed in
Yeah.
director. Like you could say it's gonna be the DGA lineup. It's never the DGA lineup. Maybe this is like the first time, and for I'm sure it's happened before, but I mean in recent times, even when the DGA lineup looks like it's absolutely positively secure, there's always at least one change, and it's usually an international director that does that, that shakes it up a little bit. An international director with an international movie, I should specify. um, but yeah, we're getting a lot into Thursday talk.
Yeah. Josie saying it was a mistake to get rid of the BAFTA jury, even though I'm pretty sure they somewhat did on some of it. Hence, that's why we've got the long list. Bryce says the biggest myth possibly on the BAFTA long list is no other choice. Getting no recognition at all. Yeah, come to think of it.
I actually, no other choice is so off my radar. I didn't even notice that till now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm watching it Friday, and I don't have it anywhere near my anything right now.
Brutalist, I believe, missed BAFTA long list for editing, but still got an editing nomination. At least in terms of Oscar, yeah. But
Yeah. Yeah, I figure there's one that'll come out of the depths. Like how I still stand by. I'm pretty sure I was the only person in existence that predicted that editing nomination for King Richard. It was on no list. It was in no guild.
yeah.
It had literally nothing. But I was like, I saw the movie. I think it's getting an edit. Just by watching the movie, you could tell.
Josie asking, will the final predictions video Thursday be live chat? Oh.
I would think not solely as a time issue
Yeah.
with
I would
doing all
say
24.
I would say feel free to put in the comments your own predictions, because obviously we've got a week between our video or slash stream going live and the other stuff. Obviously, for when we have the discussion of the actual nomination reveal next week, we will have the chat, because it makes sense to discuss what we can about that in the big discussion. Bry says the begonia, in brackets, the bane of my existence. Had a great week with SAG, PGA, and BAFTA long list, and looking at PGA, Ari Aster's not listed on the PGA lineup, so won't get nominated at the Oscars. Couple of comments there. Dominique saying British guy in the junk room's impossible to hear. Look, it's late at night. I've got work. I try and do my best. If you want professional stuff, I'll get the headphones. I'll get the soundproofing. I ain't got the money for it, but... And then
British guy in the jump room sounds like a rock album.
It's the real original title of The Boat That Rocked.
And then Red Misfart or Red Orangutan, whatever, said, I've noticed most of the award predictions on the channel are based on movies you like in a biased way instead of judging them based on the reality of other pundits and precursors. If you take into account other pundits, that's a problem. Precursors make sense. No doubt when we actually get to predicting the awards, there's lots of precursors that you have more of a guide to. Because Globes and the problem is because Globes and Critics' Choice are critics, they're no different to us three. When you get to the guilds and BAFTA, and to some extent Independent Spirit, because God knows anybody can be eligible to vote in that if you pay them the right money. That's when you start bringing in the precursors, because that's where people, the right people, can be swayed by things. At this early point, we probably are going to do stuff that's biased. No doubt, some of us will still be doing something biased. A lot of people, said. A lot of people weren't that enamored with me saying Spotlight, however many years back, getting Best Picture at the Oscars. They saw it as feasible, but probably not what was going to happen.
I'm trying to.
If you go on precursors, there wasn't much for that to be precursor, but because did it get SAG on? I can't remember. Did it get SAG Ensemble that year?
You mean Spotlight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so that did. And I guess Parasite did a few years back as well. So
that was the one that was all over the place because Spotlight had SAG, The Big Short had PGA, and The Revenant had BAFTA.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what biased predictions we would have done.
I mean, we're fans of one battle after another, but apparently so is a lot of people considering how many it won. So, like, I understand why you guys are how you are with Tarantino, and I appreciate the guy's work, but maybe in that respect, because obviously, when we've gone through like the previous winners and like who would win, you guys have always skewed somewhat towards Tarantino if it's a Tarantino year. Obviously that's hindsight ones rather than in the then and now sort of thing. But yeah, we try not to be too biased. If we were biased, we'd be saying I'd Lie to You would be winning, but we're saying Golden because we realise Golden's got the momentum.
I'd say, look, my whole thing is literally I don't predict what I really want because I'm afraid I'll jinx it.
Yeah, that as well.
You see what happened. By the way, you see what happened to Amy Madigan last night.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? And I was and by the way, also, Owen, that conversation we were just having.
Yeah.
How I feel like it started with the Social Network, where it's winning everything, and it's like, oh my god, why is this thing winning everything? I didn't really think that much of it. And then I started to fall in love with this. I literally just rewatched The Social Network last week again, because I'm obsessed with that movie. And when I fell in love with it is when The King's Speech took over the season.
Right.
And that happens a lot. Not saying last night is an influence on anything, but Owen, what was I saying to you just the other day about Del Toro?
Yeah.
I've been saying this whole time, I love Del Toro in the movie, but he'd be a weird win.
His win would come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it would be an interesting win, but it would be weird to me. Like, how did we? I love the performance. How did we get to that point? And then just the other day, Owen, I was telling you, you know what? I'd actually be fucking psyched if Del Toro won.
And you jinxed it. And you straight up jinxed it.
I told you.
Start loving Jacob Elordi. Right now.
I don't know, dude.
There's still time.
But I have nothing against Elordi's performance. I've just
I like other performances better.
Maybe
Andrew Scott and Blue Moon.
Maybe that's one. When I was underwhelmed by Frankenstein, I was like, are the awards bodies going to go for this? But as soon as the awards bodies started going for it, I came around. not for myself, but for predictions.
Sure.
But maybe that's one, I guess. But I don't remember us doing that often.
Josie mentioning, I'll never forget the line from Power of the Dog, because she was drunk!
Hearing that in an absolute empty theater with just me and Troy eating like massive amounts of food was just an incredible experience. See, Netflix has their own movie theaters. It's just they don't have enough of them to make it work.
Josie says, Owen, I think you'll like Two Family House. It's from the same director as City Island.
Okay. I haven't heard that movie name in a long time.
I'll leave those facts about some of the films that she saw. Although I completely forgot that King of New York was directed by Abel Ferrara, star of nothing other than apparently Marty Supreme. Except when it's me when I say Brillick.
Yeah.
I may or may not have a bone to pick with him about his role in Marty Supreme. I guess it just depends on exactly who shot first.
Josie saying Mrs. Bobby Cannavale. And Bryce says, hello Hamnet, a big British movie going all in on BAFTAs. I mean...
We've been saying for a long time that Hamnet was going to be in third place and everything, and then it just kind of wasn't. Because Marty Supreme came out, and it changed everything.
It is funny that Jesse Buckley actually called out, how British is it really? When you have a Chinese director and Irish leads, and...
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's probably a British production, and there's the whole Shakespeare thing. But apart from that, they said there was a predominantly Polish crew too, didn't they?
From what and the hilarious thing as well is, God knows how many people are now going to Stratford upon Avon because it's like see the places. Except it was all filmed in a place a couple of counties over in Herefordshire. None of it was actually filmed anywhere like the sites.
That's what you were talking about last night.
I don't think actually any of All Is True was filmed at Shakespeare's houses either. You know, Kenneth Branagh's one about the end of the life, which I guess reference has Hamnet as well. Josie says anyone else but you song in Juno is a good couple singing scene.
Oh my god! Oh shit! Yes, I see. When I said I would have an amazing answer later,
Josie gave
surely
me
that would.
I mean,
I think Josie knows that's my choice too.
A Whole New World.
And then Josie closing out, at least as it stands. I know you're a Beavis and Butthead fan, but your thoughts on King of the Hill, possibly in general, and maybe the sort of the revamped series from last year.
I'd love to. I haven't got a chance to watch the reboot. I've seen clips here and there, and I like the same like mentality of the original series. And I always dug King of the Hill greatly. I like Mike Judge anyway. Because again, like we mentioned, I love Beavis and Butthead. But it's like, I never saw, like, the reboot of Beavis and Butthead either. I didn't get to see the movie. I didn't get to see the TV series, which I'm pretty sure is still going on. But I'm not positive on that.
I think so, yeah.
But it's like, I don't watch TV. I don't stream. It makes it difficult. Like, I really wish I could see this stuff. I can't. But I do remember really enjoying King of the Hill when I used to watch it on Fox back in the day when it first came out.
I am a big Beavis and Butthead fan. I've actually never watched King of the Hill.
Really?
Like ever. And it's not like because I didn't want to. We just never crossed paths.
I'm also a Daria Mark too, but I'm sure that's not surprising to you given the subject matter. That's weird because I know many reasons why that fact blows my mind. I totally can imagine many people in your life, some of which have been on this channel, introducing you to King of the Hill. And I have no idea how that never. Well, I never watched SpongeBob, and I mean, that also never happened either.
You're basically talking about my brother. I have no idea if he has seen King of the Hill or not at all.
I would say your brother or your dad would have introduced you to it.
I actually don't know.
That's crazy. Yeah, I used to really dig King of the Hill.
I actually did just realise
I
something
have
that we haven't talked about because it never happened, so we never brought it up. They didn't even acknowledge the Lifetime Achievement Awards for Helen Mirren and Sarah Jessica Parker in any
They had
shape or
their own
form.
ceremony, so that's probably why they just left them off.
And also, the president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association didn't make a speech, which I'm pretty sure even happened last year.
And we still were 25 minutes over what we were supposed to be on. No, like, shoot. If you read, there's a timestamp of when the ceremony was supposed to end, and it was supposed to end at 11:05.
Yeah, 11:02 was
11:05
when
Eastern
the last
time.
award was supposed to be presented.
No, that didn't happen at all. And just like a lot of things in my life, I blame that Apatow.
usually if you're running over, they'll cut like the bits at last minute, like when I think Tom Hanks was supposed to have a bit when he announced the Hurt Locker for Picture, but the fact that they're running behind is why he just came out and opened the envelope and they just ended it.
Right.
Cut the Cheadle bit, but you probably also paid Cheadle to promote the fact that Ocean's 14 is happening, so you had to do the Cheadle bit.
I mean, after Hotel for Dogs, I mentioned on the channel many times that I'm sure he fired his agent, so he needed a little bit of visibility that he could get.
Because of course, we have fun with the award shows and we do all the build up and we do all the predictions.
Sure.
But we all know at the end of the day award shows are a giant ad. That's their whole thing.
Apparently this was for gambling, and that was the ad this time around.
What the fuck isn't a gambling ad now? It's like you literally can't. I was watching one of the red carpet bits. I can't remember if it was Amanda Seyfried or somebody was being interviewed. And in the middle of the interview, it muted and they went off to the side. And I swear to fucking God, a FanDuel ad played while the interview was happening in silence next to it.
The fact that
And
it
then
just got announced
the ad
today.
ended.
The fact that it just got announced today that the World Cup matches that are happening tentatively in America, depending how that's going, in the summer, are gonna be available to watch on betting websites for the first time ever. So that tells you how much betting is apparently taken over. Although, to be fair, all this bloody whatever the fuck it's called, polymarket thing, is betting but also mixed with market speculation, which is even more risky. I don't know how we got the loophole with that, but dear lord. Yeah, it's just generally, they might be paying a lot of money, but get rid of the adjacent gambling stuff. It's not a good look. Other than that, Globes, you did an award ceremony.
Given that everybody and their fucking brother is doing these ads, I'm gonna guess it's gonna take a long time before they realize that it's not a good, that it looks, it's just like trashy, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't until Kevin Hart got his special nominated. I didn't know he was doing anything other than his fucking gambling commercials these days. It's like, oh, that's just your life now, Kevin Hart.
Apparently, that's all the slap did to Chris Rock I just see or hear him in a bunch of BetMGM commercials and nothing else.
By the way, spot on joke about Kevin Hart has the most money of all the comedians, but he wanted the award the most. I imagine that's spot on.
More than likely. So yeah, with that, that's us done for tonight. We will be returning at the slightly earlier time of 5 p.m. because we've got 24 categories to go through.
A lot of fucking conversations to have about.
Mm-hmm. Take us out, Owen.
Happily. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. If you joined us live or if you're joining us in archive, thank you for taking time to listen to us talk about the Golden Globes and PGA and the BAFTA long list and just like listening us chat about movies. And thank you for joining us for this award season as we roll on Thursday night, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will predict the Oscars category for category. So it'll be a nice little long discussion. And then the next week, we will have three solid videos on Thursday to react to the nomination morning announcements. I hope that mine gets up before the day is over. I guess we'll find out if that happens or not. I am off work, but that means nothing to technology, doesn't it? And then that night, either 5 or 6 p.m., I don't recall what time we're going to go. I guess it really depends. We got a lot to talk about, and all the snubs, the surprises, everything that came out of the actual Oscar nominations. And then while we wait for the February bell to chime and set us up for another series of award shows, 2009 will be our focus. Yes, we've been talking about this for a while, and it's going to come your way in the midst of between the two. And I think you guys might end up getting a Q&A show at some point, too. I haven't quite decided. I guess we'll see if it works out or not. Ashley can be found on X at AshesMyNameUK. More of his content will be coming very soon. I guess there's some snack stashes could be coming in the future, maybe some gaming content. You never know what may come up on the channel with Ashley. AJ's got some reviews. We may dip into 2026 sooner rather than later. So also some Speaking Bluntly's are coming your way very soon as well. And more AJ content. My content, like I said, I have 8 months of content, like daily stuff on the channel that can pretty much push us into Horror Nights at this point. And that does not have anything to do with what AJ and Ashley already have and stuff I haven't filmed yet that I need to, because I got a bunch of brand new energy drinks that I need to take on in the next few days or so. But I haven't because I've not been feeling very well. So it's like, it's not that I can't like smell or taste. It's just the fact I don't want to sit here stagnant because it's not a good idea for my body or mind right now. So that is going to be your show. As always, like I said before, Lyrics for Confidential has a new music video out. Austin directed it, of course, as he always does. And any minute now is available on all your streaming services. Check that out. Just seriously, before Park 6 drops later this year, get water parks where they deserve to be. That's going to be your show. I want to thank everyone for watching. Always remember to have the best day ever. 'Tis the season after all. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.